Alright, okay, so Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Okay, so as promised, so we are going to do revision for the subject, alright? Okay, so for your final test, the dates is scheduled on 21st of January, so I have provided the informations. The formats of the questions, I cannot confirm yet because I haven't seen the full contents for the final test. But some of the questions are the multiple choice questions and also true false. Alright. So you have to answer that in the computer lab lah, right? Based on the schedule. Okay.
Minggu depan lab macam biasa kan, Madam?
Yeah. Next week is GUI kan, GUI project, right? Okay, next week is the GUI project. Okay. Okay, so we have started the class mainly with introductions to programming, correct? Okay, introductions to computers and programming. So basically there are two lecture slides for this one. There are part 1 and 2, alright? So for this computers and programming, what you have learned basically is about the hardware and software. So you need to identify what's the difference between hardware and software. Alright. And then the second slides. Okay, so I will not touch more. I will not touch more on the hardware and software. Okay, because as students from IT and also business related to IT, you need to know and differentiate between this hardware and software. Okay. And the most important part for these computers and the programming is about the input process outputs. Okay, they're related to the programming. Alright, so mainly these are the process involved in the computers, right? Okay, so you have input devices to the CPU and going out to the output devices. But there are items that you need to know in terms of the contents under CPU, okay, such as the control unit and arithmetic logic unit, or in short form as ALU. Alright, so what is the difference between control unit and this ALU? Alright, so you need to know because these two items or units are having different processes or tasks. Alright. Okay. And okay, for the second slide, okay, under computers and programming, you learn about the difference between system software and the application software. Okay. So example, this one is the example based on the pictures or the figures showing here. These are examples under system software and the application software. So what is the definitions of this system and also application software? It is something that you need to take notes. All right. Okay, so this one, system software. What are the tasks involved in the system software? Referring to any computer software that manage and controls the hardware. Okay, so that the applications can perform a task. So a task means the general one, like you can define that more specifically, right? And this application software, it is a programs that do real work for the user. Normally it is for the human purpose. Alright, and we have specific types of the open software. So what is the meaning open source software? The source code is available under a license that permit user to use, change, and improve the software, and it can be redistributed, okay, in modified or unmodified form. Alright, and vice versa to the open source software, we have the term that is called as the proprietary software. It means that non-free software, whereby this software having restricted in terms of the using the applications, process to copy or modify. Alright, so that is the term that we call as the proprietary software. Okay, what is the important parts under the second slides? Second lecture subtopics is the process involved the programming language, okay, in terms of the compiler, interpreter, and some kinds of programming steps. Alright. Okay, so computer language generally can be grouped into three types. One is the machine language, second is the assembly language, and high level language. Alright, so what is the items under this machine language? It refers to the binary codes applications, and it is machine dependent, not portable. Okay, but for assembly language refers to the mnemonics applications, also machine dependent and not usually portable. Okay, what you learn is under high level language in short form. All right. Okay, so Java is one of the high level language. So it use English language. Machine dependent means that when you want to use this language, you need to use computer, PC, and so on. So that is the meaning of machine independence. All right. And then it's portable. Right. Okay. And okay, next one is the types of errors that you need to know. All right, types of error. Okay, so this is the programming errors that you need to know and understand. First one is the syntax error. Okay, syntax error. It happens when you compile the program. All right, and then we have runtime error. It means that when you compile the program, there's no warning or error messages shown in the compilation after the compilations. But the program cannot complete the executions. All right, you cannot execute the program. The reason usually will be based on in the program contains divisions by the number 0, or maybe the program reads an invalid input data, so the output will not produce properly. Okay, so that is meaning of runtime error. Okay, third one is the logic error. When you execute the program, okay, the executions completed, okay, but the output produced is incorrect. Okay, for examples, you have a logic operator or maybe some kinds of arithmetic operator missing some symbols, right? And so when you run the program, the output shown is incorrect. Okay, so this is due to the logic error. All right. Okay, next is the linker error. Okay, linker error, it is something like the program supposed to read the input, but you did not use scanner library file. Or maybe your program consists of mathematical functions such as trigonometry, right? But then you did not include maths library file, okay? But it is different if you use online GDB, so the maths library file is already built in. But if you use other different IDE that required you to import the maths library file, but you did not import, okay, however your program used the mathematical functions, and then you might be facing the linker error. Okay, so this one you need to take notes lah. When you use the online GDB, basically the maths library file is already built in. Okay. But if you use NetBeans for examples, then you need to import the library file, right? Okay, so next one is the semantic error. This is due to the statements, which is your Java codes that is not understandable by the compiler, right? Okay, so this is specific examples for the programming errors. Alright, okay, so let's see. Okay, I have questions about this topic. Okay, when you run the program or save the program, what is the format of your Java source file? Anyone can answer my question? What is the format of Java source file? What is the format of Java source file? Alright, okay, so correct is .java. Okay, any names, but it is in the .java. Alright. Alright, if you compile the program, for example, what is the format of the compile file? Compile file. What is the format of the compile file? .exe, no. Yeah, .class, correct. Alright. Iman answers correct. .class. Alright. Okay, next one. We move to program logic construction, in short form PLC. So under this we have program development cycle, right? Okay, program development cycle. Alright. Okay, so under this program development cycle, first of all, you need to understand the problem, right? Okay, the problems. And then you need to plan the solutions or design the solutions containing your IPO table, okay, in phase 1. And then phase 2 consists of your pseudocode, flowchart, all right. And then third one is the implementation, which is your Java coding, which is your phase 3. And then the desk check is the phase number 4. Okay, so basically in this PLC, mainly there are 4 stages. Okay. Okay, so remember, you need to design before coding. Okay, these things you need to do design. So stage number 1 and 2 containing the steps to design the solutions before you proceed to the Java coding. Okay, so that is the most important part. Okay, next is okay. For all phases covered in the PLC program, PLC steps. Okay, so first one, since you need to start with understanding the problem. Once you understand the program or the problem, you need to design the solution static with the IPO table. So IPO consists of input, process, and output. All right. Sometimes some authors use IPO table or IPO diagram, right? It is referring to the IPO lah in short form. Okay, so under this input, right, usually, okay, you need to list down what are the variable involved is for the input parts, input variable, for example, and we always create with the specific name for that variable, okay, in the program. Okay, and then process involve what is the main process involve something like it involve the computations or calculation process. So yeah, the process must be stated together with the process name. Okay, so it's something that you need to know lah. So if let's say there is a computations, so you use formula of A equal to something. All right, so the process name is compute or calculates. So do not just provide the formula only. All right. So, okay, so remember that's why it is called as the process. So process something like determine process, checking process, compute process, calculate process, calling methods, okay, for example, and then checking conditions, and you can set it together the loops, maybe repetitions and so on. All right. Okay, output will be what kinds of items that you want to display. Maybe the output in terms of the statement, maybe the output in terms of the variable that have been used before or have been processed before, okay, in the process item. So that is the output, right? Okay, next one is the pseudocodes. Okay, so after you have the IPO table, then we have the pseudocode. So this is the English statement referring to the what you have done in IPO table. Then you need to design the pseudocode based on the English statement. Okay, so you have start and that is basic to start with. Alright, then in the pseudocode, please take notes about the indentation. I think still until today, some students when I mentions about indentation still didn't know what is that about. Okay, so you need to take notes on this one. I have informed many times. In pseudocode, you have to show the indentations. Okay, clearly. It is very important. Alright. Okay, so pseudocode should not contain any syntax. So something that you need to take note, should not contains any Java syntax. All right. So it shows main process in the program or in the designing the solution. Okay, once you've done this pseudocode, then you have to use figure to represent your pseudocode. So that is called as the flowchart. All right, flowcharts. So flowchart involve the starting and the process. Whatever involved in the program, process involved in the program. So you have to illustrate that into the flowchart. So basically, the flowchart will be based on the pseudocode. All right. Okay, so it is same rules for flowchart. You cannot have any syntax. Okay, used in the diagram. All right. Okay, next one is your implementation which involve your Java coding. Okay, Java coding, and then we have test check. This is to validate the methods and the result that you have done in stage number 4. So the purpose of the test check is to check the validations, to check the validations of your logic, okay, from your program. Okay, so basically to check program's logic. Program's logic means that once you have the whole program completed, so you need to validate the logic of your program. So basically it is to check the validations of your logicness. Right, okay, next is wait, alright, okay, I have questions. I think, let me see. Okay, now this is the IPO diagram, right? Okay, now let's say your input. Okay, let's say your input is number of hours work. Okay, let's say your input is number of hours work. So what is the output? what is the output, related output? What is the related output? Total of hours work. Number of hours work, so output dia boleh jadi total of hours work. Okay, try again. Let's say your input is number of hours work. So what is the possible related output? Yeah, we input numbers of hours work.
Average hours work, madam.
Average hours. Your input is bilangan jam bekerja, number of hours work. So what is the possible output from the input? Your input is number of hours work. So what is the possible output or related output that you can display or compute? Something like that. How much you earn for hour? So then how much is called what? Average hours work. You can get, I have, okay, but mainly is salary lah, right? Salary, because number of hours work, right? So you can compute salary, okay, total salary or total pay. Alright, Lokman Hakim answer also correct lah. But the correct or common keywords is the total salary or salary. Okay, next is okay, so the next topic is variables, data types, reserved keywords, operators, constants, and the system. Okay. Okay, so we start with, wait, it's not charging. Okay, for variables, what is the meaning of the variable? Okay, your data types and the name. Okay, so the variable, when you want to create the name, you should know the rules, right? What is the rule to create the variable name? And the variable should be declared the types of data. Okay. For example, if you have variable counts, so we want to count that variable. Okay, so we create name count, and it should be counted as integer because it is discrete value. Okay, so the group of that is integer. So int is the data types. This count is the variable name. Alright, so next is, let's say we have price. This is the variable name, and double. What's the meaning of double? Okay, we have other numbers such as float. So what is the difference between double and the floats? In terms of the precisions, for the floats, if it's within 6 decimal places, usually we use float. But if it's more than 6 decimal places, then we use double. Alright. Okay, next we have name. This is variable name. Okay. Then declare as string data type. So what is the meaning of string? In this case, it is consists of. What is the meaning of string in this case? Okay, what is the meaning of string data type? What is the meaning of string data type? Consists of. Sorry, I check. Check. Text. Use text only. Not really text, not word. It can be numbers. Okay. It can be numbers. String doesn't mean text only. Okay.
Sequence of character, madam.
Sequence of characters. Alright. Okay. Sequence of characters. Not really based on text or words. Alright. It can be numbers. It can consist of special symbols. Okay. You can have numbers. You can have alphabets. Special symbols. It is string. Alright. We have other data types such as the character. So we use char. So that char involve only one character. Okay. Other than that, we have something like Boolean. Data types Boolean. Okay. Booleans. What is the Boolean meaning? What is the Boolean meaning? Data type is Boolean. Boolean meaning. What is the Boolean? It's a Boolean meaning. Okay, it's something like you want to declare the data type, so we use Boolean. Boolean symbol. Not symbol lah. Boolean name. Okay, this is your data type. This is your variable. So what is the meaning of Boolean? What is the meaning of Boolean? No one answer that. True, false. Okay, it's a Boolean value, either 0 or 1. Okay, Boolean value. Next one. Okay, next, for the variable, sometimes the variable need to have initial value. Okay, initial value should be assigned according to the data type. Alright, initial value. Okay, but if your variable is the character type, so you need to use this kinds of single quote symbol, okay, to initialize. If it's a numbers, for either integer or double or maybe floats, can just specify what is the initial value. Alright. Okay, next is the operators, operators type. Okay, sorry, operators. Okay. Okay, reserve keywords. Let's start with reserve keywords. Okay, so reserve keywords, it is something that you need to take notes when you do the Java coding. So you cannot use these reserve keywords as the variable name. Okay, so these are some common examples. So for data types, declarations, int, double, float, string, character, and so on, including special structures such as if, else, while, for loop, while loop, do while loop, return, static, public void, class. These are common reserved keywords that you should know. You cannot use this reserved keyword as a variable name. Okay. And also for creating your class name or maybe for Java methods name. Okay, so you have to avoid this. Cannot use these reserved keywords, otherwise it will provide you error when you compile the program. All right. Next is all right. Okay, I think that's yeah. Okay, operators. Okay, we have several types of operators. Okay, these are the groups. First one is the arithmetic operators. These involve symbols such as plus, right, minus, multiplication, division, and equal symbols. All right, basic arithmetic operators lah. Right, then maybe you can have like this kinds of power, these kinds of symbols. Right, next one we have relational operators. What is the meaning of relational operators? Using this kind of symbol, more than, less than, can have more than and equal. You can have less than and equal. Next, you can have equal symbols. Okay, double equal. All right, these are relational operators. Okay, for logical operators such as the and symbol, right? Can use or operator and not. Okay, not. So these are logical operator. Okay, assignment operator is the one using this initial value equals. Increment operator can be like this, plus. This is a short form formula, or you can have in terms of plus equal, right? You can have minus or minus equal. Alright. Okay, next is constants. Okay, constants. Okay, so when the constants is required in the program, okay, if your program have some specific value that that value will not be changed, okay, during the program executions, so you can use constant method. All right, so the constants, for example, your program has some constants such as pi value as 3.142, okay, or maybe you have other variable in terms of gravity, S10, and so on. So the value is fixed, okay, in the program, so you can use constant method. So in terms of the coding, you can identify that using keywords of final. Okay, keywords of final. So we know this is constant method because there is a keyword of final, and this is the data type with the variable name, and this is the value, okay, for this variable, for example. All right. Okay, next one. Okay, so next is we have system types. Okay, so this is in the Java codes we have built-in class, okay, under this package. All right. So in terms of the Java codings, there is a different meaning between system out, system in, okay, system and other things, okay. But common one is this two, right? System.out is for output, system.in for inputs. Okay, so this is item that you need to know as basic. All right. And there are other methods such as print ln, print line, and also printf. So when to use print ln, printf. Okay. So it has different meanings between these three. So you should know. All right. Okay. For this one, let's say I just want to test your understanding. Let's say we have this process 5 divided by 2 and 5.0 divided by 2. Okay, my question is, these two giving you same output value, or different in terms of the value between these two. Okay, same output or different output? Same output or different output? Different. Okay, so different. So let's see 5 divided by 2, the first one. Okay, what is the value? First one. Is it 2? Is it 2 or 2.5? First one, I'm asking about the first one. Okay, single integer. So this one is 2. Right. When it's stated 5.0 divided by 2, this will give us 2.5. Okay. See this one. All right. Okay. Okay, so we done this topic. Next is okay, control structures or decision structures. what we have in the control or decision structures. Okay, under decision structure or selection structure, you have if and the types of if structures and also the switch. Okay, so for this if structure can be designed with several types such as multiple if else, if else, or maybe nested if. All right, and then we have the switch structure. Okay, so mainly this decision structure involve operators such as your arithmetic, logic operator, and relational operator. Okay, these are common one. Okay, so for this decision structure or selection structure, take notes that it is important for you to show the indentation. You have to consider the indentation, right? The purpose of this indentation to show that that line is belongs to which one. Okay, for example, let's say we have switch structure here, then we have case 1. Okay, so we show this case 1 with the indentation to show that this case 1 is under switch structure and so on. All right. Okay, so same goes if you use if structure. For example, here we have this conditions operator, and then we have this task or the statement to display the A grades. So these kinds of tasks you need to show with indentation to show that this statement is under the first condition. Okay, so that is very important one lah. Right. Okay, now when to use switch structure and when to use if structure. When to use if and when to use switch. Can you answer my question? When to use if and switch structure. Okay, so when we have range, so we use if structure. Okay, when your choice contain range, so we use if structure. Right. So the choice based on range cannot be used or depends on the switch. Okay, so for the switch structure, if the choice or selection is discrete values or a fixed, okay, fixed values. Fixed value doesn't mean the numbers, it can be as a character, sorry. All right. Okay. Okay, so I think okay, I think I will stop the class. I'll share the attendance after this. So next week I will continue with next revisions lah. Alright, until the last one lah. Okay. Okay, let me start with yeah. UB students.